Hi, welcome to Sunday at the Tube Attic. Today we're not really going to be talking about anything very tubey, but it's definitely very groovy. I'm going to be talking about some Dearmond pickups. This is a little. I have a little bit of a soft spot for these things. Um, this one here is a Rhythm Chief. I think it's a 1000. I should know. Anyways, regardless, Rhythm Chief 1000. I think these things just sound completely. It's a unique sound. It's if you're into roots music, you really got to get one. Back in the day, if you had an archtop, an acoustic archtop, this was pretty much the only way to electrify it. So a lot of early recordings were done this way. You can see you got a pickup. It's adjustable on this shaft here. It just clips onto the strings behind the bridge and the tailpiece here. And you've got some controls. You've got your volume and a tone and a special switch. We'll talk about that at the end. This one here, it's set up on a 30s Gibson. It's an L37. This one I got for a couple of reasons. One, L37 to me anyways, it always seemed to have the same acoustic body shape as a ES150, like a Charlie Christian guitar. I really think it's the Charlie Christian bass without the Charlie Christian pickup, of course. Um, uh, but also because I saw a picture of a young BB King playing one, and he had the pickup in the exact same position. And I got one, and I got the pickup, and I tried to put it together, and then I found out, you know what? I thought he placed it because of sonic reasons. You wanted more of a trebly sound, and then I kind of found out that's about as far forward as I can push it without the strings kind of hitting out on the fretting out on the pickup itself. So lesson learned. Regardless, it just sounds fantastic. Here's just an example of something. Just pull this out from the cabinet. There's a little bit of a rotation in the cabinet. These are the favorite players. The rest are all in cases and such. It's an old Gretsch Synchromatic from the 50s. Obviously, this one here, it's placed a little bit more in the rhythm position. Same pickup. I got the same kind of straight lucite knobs. I got that threaded connector. Same thing. This one here I actually picked up because I heard, can't really confirm it or anything, but enough people spoke to me about it that I was interested to check this out, that all the early BB King, Muddy Waters recordings, all those like first electrified recordings were all done on a Gretsch Synchromatic with Dearmond. It's a wonderful sounding pickup. I'm going to give you a little bit of a close-up here on one. As you can see, you got a pickup, you got a control unit, and you got the mounting hardware, which basically clamps the bracket onto the strings. All these things just kind of thread out. You kind of clamp it on, and then you can move the pickup to the ideal location. Sometimes people mount these on the edge of the fretboard, and then it's the same thing. You just kind of slide the pickup, but except it's just mounted on the fretboard. These connectors here are crucial to me anyways. It's a threaded switchcraft connector. It's a lot like those harmonica connectors you see people have. Jacks. So these classic kind of harmonica connectors, if you grab one and just see, well look, I got a male component. It just kind of threads on. So these ones are pretty standard, but the sad news is, I've discovered through the years that you can be very disappointed on eBay with these ones because they're not all the same size. There's some very subtle differences. There's some differences with the thread pitch. So you might end up a little disappointed. But I will tell you this, if you can find the right connector for it, you're golden, because this is the way to go, especially in a gig situation. Some of the ones I've had through the years have had these kind of loose sight, for lack of a better term, I'll call them witch hat knobs. The witch hat ones tend to have kind of a female jack right here. It's a it's like a 1/8 of an inch, kind of like you'd have like a stereo kind of earphone jack for like your iPods kind of thing, and it just doesn't work in a gig situation. This is really the way to go. If you ever want to see inside, got a couple of wax caps. These pots, by the way, sometimes have some very unusual values. So the kind of published values versus the measured values, very different, and the tapers are very different as well. I think this really contributes to the tone, so if you get one, try and get one that's as original as possible. A lot of these have been kind of swapped out with all sorts of, I won't say junk, but just different values. So how does this thing work? Well, once you get it on, the magic with this is you adjust your tone and your volume, and then you have this rhythm switch. So basically what this is it kind of cuts in those extra capacitors that are in there. And depending on where you have your tone setting, there's a bit of a, not only a tonal contrast, but there's a volume jump. A little bit like if you had like an old tweed amp, if you put all the, bass, treble, and mids down, you're kind of lacking a little bit of drive, a little bit of volume. And if you were to suddenly turn those up, you would regain that extra drive and volume. So for me anyways, I never really used it as like a rhythm, or maybe that's what they meant when they say, I'm in the background, I'm just playing rhythm, and it's solo time. But it's been kind of like a passive boost. It's really phenomenal. Now, the last thing I can tell you about these things, and it's really been the trick with me, just like any pickup, I've had some that I've had some, how can I put it? It's a very strong output. I've had some that have been very weak. But at the end of the day, I try and find something that's kind of mid-rangey, like not tonally, but I mean just volume-wise. Having said that, the little caveat, for single coils, humbuckers, all sorts of stuff, I really go for low output and wide spectrum as far as high frequencies, low frequencies. That's really my bag. But with these guys, I try and get them slightly hot. I'll call them medium. But more important, microphonic. And it's been the microphonics with these that have really sold me. It's kind of a mix between an acoustic and electric sound. It's phenomenal. All the extras you can kind of hear in the string. Maybe it's the percussiveness of the pick attack, but this is what's made these so magical to me. So hope you enjoyed. We'll be talking about a whole bunch of other things. As soon as I'm set up with the recording gear and such, we'll be doing some tonal demos, and I hope you join me for that. Talk to you soon. Cheers.